Hello, everyone. It's just Jules. I'm well aware I look like shit. I'm dealing with a broken heart right now, but everybody's already well aware of that. I just wanted to make a note to myself and on my channel that I called the feds about my phone being turned into a group chat, that I've got cameras pointing directly at my house somewhere, up to and including to the point where I can sit on my bed and write in my journal, and everybody can see what I'm writing as I'm writing it. Invasion of privacy. Someone hacked, cloned, mirrored, and turned my phone into a group chat where they have people communicating with me through links on my feed, and no one's taking me seriously except the people who are actually participating in it. I just got off the phone with the feds to make this report, and instead of asking me further information regarding it, they ended up, "How did you find out about this?" And I explained how I found out about it. It's from other YouTubers who are gracious enough to clue me in on the fact that, hey, guess what? You're not alone in your house. Guess what? You're being watched, and everybody can see you naked. Every time you get dressed, people can see you. Every time you say anything, every time you bring your phone in or to the courthouse even, it's being recorded and people are listening in on private property. Then you've got the being tailed, basically followed around. Everybody knows where I am where I'm at. Let's see here. The camera is hijacked, and yeah, the microphone, people can hear and listen in on every single thing I do and say, and it's all across the internet. All across the internet. And you know what the feds did when I explained to them what happened? Well, if there's an emergency, just call 911. Click. That was the extent of their assistance regarding this matter. Now, this is me getting sex trafficked. This is my naked body being on display on the internet, revenge porn. This is cyber stalking, harassment, everybody knowing my financial details, stuff that's under HIPAA law protected, my therapy appointments, which are infiltrated and again broadcasted online. And that prevents me from getting further help because, well, I'm a hermit. I like being at home. If I'm at home, I'm stuck being watched and eavesdrop on and stalked. But if I go out, I have to deal with people in their looks, the way they look at me, the way they talk to me, the way they treat me, all due to some asshole who thought it would be fucking adorable to mirror my phone and turn my phone and all my electronic devices into a group chat and use it to talk amongst themselves, to slander me, to shame me, to villainize me, and exploit me. So many laws have been, and federal laws have been broken because of this situation. And no one is taking me seriously. There was a lady who experienced something similar when her TV was hijacked, her box, and individuals that were hacking her device. I'll actually stick the link to that video that I saw. Somebody ended up sending it to me because it showed up on my timeline. So I know somebody sent that to me, include me in that. Hey, you're not the only one. Thank you, by the way, for that. Thank you. But this lady was, I had these group of guys talking to her and typing through the search engine, or not the search engine, the search bar, talking to her, leaving notes and stuff, talking about how they watch their family and stuff. And this apparently went on for a very, very, very long time with this woman. I don't know her name. I don't know where she's from, but God bless you for sharing your story, because that gave me hope for mine. Because they took mine a bit further. And for the past 3 years, if not longer, 3 years that I've been aware that I've been watched, and longer, that some another individual clued me in that it's been probably about 5 years that I have been watched and stalked and harassed online, and without my even knowledge or consent to it. And someone thought it was really fucking adorable to do that to someone. People thought it was really freaking adorable to break into my house, install the cameras, go through my private written information, manipulate it, and put it on the internet. Invasion of privacy. That is a human rights violation. And I'm sitting here dealing with this all on my own. I've called the cops. I've called the state police. They might help me. I don't know. They took down information. What they'll do with it, I have no idea. But I know damn well that they were led to believe that I'm this dangerous, unhinged person with violent tendencies, and I'm not. People filled them with lies and bullshit about who I am and what I am, and they were led to believe that I am the villain, that I'm the evil one. But here I am with all of my social medias hacked, all of my my phone, my tablet, my TV, my computer hacked. I'm sitting here writing a book, 100,000 words in, and everybody can see what I'm writing as I'm writing it. Invasion of privacy, copyright infringement. And it's all being displayed online, and nobody cares. Nobody gives a remote shit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. The cops don't care. The feds don't care. The people who watch me do not care. They're more inclined to watch me suffer because it's entertainment. It's fun for them. Hell, I had a bawling because I just experienced a breakup with the man I've loved for forever. And there's people online making videos about it, watching me cry and making fun of me for crying, for feeling, for having and expressing emotions. Because I feel. Because I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken over the fact that my naked body is displayed on the internet without my knowledge or consent, and there's not a fucking thing I can do about it. And no one gives enough of a shit to make it stop. If it was their body online, and the revenge porn, and any, all my financial information, all of my personal information, everything that I am outside of what I keep in my head has been infiltrated and displayed publicly across the internet, somewhere where I don't even know, and no one will actually tell me. No one gives a shit. Why? Because people are making money off of it. People are monetizing their videos, the same videos they use to slander my ass. But then there are individuals who have actually used their platform as a way to help me heal, help me move past stuff. But what makes me fucking sick and livid is the fact that the feds hung up on me. This is a federal crime. Federal crime. Mirroring somebody's phone and broadcasting it across the internet is a federal fucking crime. And they hung up on me. Because they were fed information that I was the bad person. Because, my history, I'll be open and honest about me getting arrested 10 years ago. And people look at the charges and they think, oh, she was violent. But the problem is they don't look at the case. They don't look at the statements, and they don't consider the fact that in the state of Michigan, if you are present and you witness a crime and you do nothing, then you are held accountable for as if you committed the crime yourself. So, for future reference to those of you watching, if you're in Michigan, if you witness a crime and you do nothing, you're accountable as if you had done it yourself. And that's what you'll get charged with. Even if you're just sitting there on your ass, taking up space, doing absolutely nothing, which is what I did. You will get charged for the same fucking charges that the actual perpetrators did. And so when people look at those charges, they think, ha, violence. No. I sat there at the kitchen table while shocked out of my fucking gourd about what was occurring. And I trusted the individual who that told me that they had already called the cops. And I believed them. When I shouldn't have, I should have just called the cops myself. That was a hard lesson learned. But it was a lesson I learned 10 years ago. I have had zero violent tendencies or anything like that. I've had people call me a whore, a prostitute, a sex worker, a cam girl, a porn star. I've had people accuse me of god-awful things. God-awful things. Things that are just completely beyond my comprehension. And I would seriously like a list of grievances. If someone could provide in the comments below a list of grievances that people have had and all the accusations so I can go through them one by one and confirm and deny the accuracy of the claims, that would be super. But nobody has done that. Nobody's done it. Nobody gives a shit. And the cops don't, whether or not the state police will do anything about it, I'm not entirely sure. But this isn't the first time I've called the feds, and it's not the first time I've called the Marquette County Sheriff's Department or the Michigan State Police Post or the FBI. I've called them, messaged them repeatedly over the course of the past 3 years, trying to get help, trying to get this to stop, trying to stop getting stalked. I had people go to lengths to lie on me, manipulate evidence. I had a case of clothes stolen from my basement, and someone used them in a video trying to be me. This was years ago. I've had people trespass on my property, break into my house, install cameras and listening devices. I have my, phone. The camera is constantly on. It's constantly recording. And I'm surrounded by people who already know, who are well aware. And they keep it to themselves and pretend that they're my friend, pretend that they have my best interest at heart, when in all actuality, they're trying to get information, trying to get me to confirm or deny what these false allegations. And it's bullshit. When all that should have been done, which is the proper thing to do, is you come up and ask me. You don't install cameras. Just come up and ask. Come take me in for an interview. Okay, Jules, this is what you're accused of. This is what has been reported that you did. Can you confirm or deny? Nobody's done that. Instead, I'm stalked repeatedly online. Instead, I've got my YouTube channel. I do searches, even through my university, the university library. In the university library online will show up specific names of people and messages intended to me. Subliminals. And people think I'm batshit crazy. And the cops and the law enforcement aren't taking my ass seriously. And this has been going on, and I've been living this for 3 years that I've known about it. but far longer than I've known. My life, everything from my tears, my heartbreak, the trauma, has all been entertainment for all of you who have watched me. Some of you have laughed with me. Some of you have cried with me. Some of you laughed at me while I cried. Some of you called me a prostitute and a whore, saying that I spread my legs and spread disease when I don't. I haven't had sex in 8 years. I haven't had a boyfriend in 8 years. I don't have any friends. This whole situation has isolated me from all of my friends and my support network. Because when I first found out about it, I cut off everybody. This was back in 2021 when I noticed the first smear campaign in 2021. And people were talking about shit that they had no business knowing. And I know I didn't say nothing. Specific details about my life, my privacy, all spread across the internet. And I could, when I first found out about that first smear campaign in 2021, and that was when me and the man that I'm currently mourning, we had a falling out. And I was fucking railed on Facebook. Damn. Holy shit. It was like there's the breakup, right? Which is devastating of itself because I've loved this man with every fiber in my being for years. But not only do I have to deal with the freaking devastation of that heartbreak, but I also had to deal with hundreds of people going on their Facebook pages and for a full fucking 24 hours railed my ass online. Holy shit. If that's not adding insult to injury, I don't know what is. People talking about how horrible of a person I am, how horrible I handled the situation, blah, 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 blah. And at the time, I didn't even know I was being watched. I had no fucking idea that everybody was already well aware of my goings on and what I was doing. It hit me out of left fucking field. I was like, whoa, where did all these people come from and how the fuck do they know my business? Shocked the shit out of me. And so over time, after that, and I got into watching tarot and actually got into reading tarot myself. And I figured, boom, light bulb moment. Why don't I go on YouTube so I can learn how to read cards better? Because there are people on YouTube who know more about tarot than I do. So why don't I watch them and see how they do it and learn from them? And so I did. I started watching tarot. And then amidst the heartbreak, and here I am thinking I'm completely by myself, mind you, not being watched or voyeured or anything like that. I'm sitting there and I'm absolutely fucking devastated, bawling my eyes out over the loss of the man that I love and losing that connection. And I said something, and amidst my tears, like scream crying, the rage crying, I was so upset. This is back in 2021, 2022. And I go on afterwards. I saw a notification from one of my favorite readers. I'm not going to mention her name because I don't want to cause her any problems or nothing like that. But I remember who it was, and she's a fucking badass. She's cool. She's always been objective, neutral. That's why I appreciate her. And she's a badass reader. And she went on there and she did a reading on what I said. And verbatim repeated the exact phrase that I said at that moment. Boom. She goes on live and she put me in my place. She wasn't wrong. But that scared the shit out of me. Scared the shit out of me. And this is before I knew about the cameras, before this became a Julie monologuing over the camera. This is Julie not knowing what the fuck is going on. And so I told a friend of mine, and I'm like, I think I'm being watched because, or somebody knows something. Somebody's leaking my information out on the internet somewhere. I don't know who or what or how or why. But something just ain't sitting right here. And that friend of mine, and I told her that I felt like I was being stalked because I would have people driving past my house, going around the block and slowing down in front of my house, creeping by and staring at me as I'm sitting in my lawn. Right? And I told her, hey, I'm getting stalked. I've got people who somehow know my business and in the privacy of my house, and it's all splayed across the internet. I'm scared. This is scary shit. And she, oh no, don't worry about it. It's probably nothing, and trying to reassure me that, oh, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, right. Yeah, everything's fine. And so I got scared, justifiably so. And I had people creeping on my property in the middle of the night. I had people walking on my property at night because like the windows would be open and stuff, and I could freaking hear them. I had a guy come up to my front door knocking on it in the middle of the night. I told him to leave, and what does he do? He walks behind my house, goes to my bedroom window, and stands out beside it. And I called the cops and said, hey, there's a guy looking in my fucking window right now. Can you make him go away? Can you press charges? Can you do something? Oh no, sorry, is he gone? Yes. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. Too bad for you. Sucks to be you. Well, shit. And then I had my garage broken into. The garage door forcibly ripped off of the hinges, and a vehicle pried to one side as someone went in there and stole parts off of my car while I was in town with that same friend. And when I got home and I saw the garage door the way it was, I'm like, what happened here? And you know what she said? It was the wind. Really? It was the fucking wind when it was your nephew? Really? Mm-hmm. And so I got scared. And I have to explain this. I come from a hunting family. Okay, I grew up in a hunting family. My stepdad hunted, my dad hunted, my brother hunted, my mom hunted, and so did I. I am also a nationally ranked pistol competitor. Nationally ranked. This is no bullshit. I am a nationally ranked pistol competitor. So yes, I do have firearms. Yes, they are locked. Yes, they have gun locks on them. They're locked in a safe, and then the keys are locked somewhere else. I don't fuck around when it comes to gun safety. I have learned gun safety. You kind of have to. And so I got scared, and I remembered, well, I can protect myself. And I told my friend that, I feel like I should carry that around with me in the house because I have people trespassing on my property. I had another point. Someone climbed up the back of my back porch, climbed onto the bunny cages to get to the back porch to climb up into my upstairs. And there were guys that broke into my house while my son and I were in it, messing around upstairs, and then they climbed out and left. Do you think the cops did anything? No. So then, I might as well just sit here and tell you guys my take on the situation and everything that I've experienced through my personal experience. Not everything what everybody says is my experience. No, this is what I have felt and what I experienced, period. And since the cops won't listen, and since the watchers won't listen, I might as well at least make a video for the sake of posterity. So at least my voice is out there, my side of the story is out there. So here it is. And she ends up, my friend, and I had a falling out with my mom. I told my mom, please don't talk to me. That's a long story. Nobody's business there. But I had a very strained relationship with my mom all my life. I'll just say it like that and leave it there. And at that moment, my mom and I weren't on speaking terms, and I wanted her to just leave me alone because she would ask me about personal information about my life and how much I make and what I do. And it's just like, it's none of your fucking business. This is my life. My business is my business and nobody else's. I have the right to privacy. I have the right to keep shit to myself, and nobody's entitled to know every facet and every detail of my inner workings or how I live. So then my friend came over, and she's friends with my mom, and she knew that my mom and I had a falling out. And I told her, please don't tell my mom my business because it's none of hers. And when I explained to her what happened about the tarot videos that I was watching, and that's when really clicked in my head, like, how are these people knowing exactly what's going on in my house and can repeat the words I say verbatim in their reads? Oh, I'm pissing people off right now. You can go ahead and be pissed off. I don't care. Try living with cameras and try living my life. And then you can bitch. You try to live through my own experiences and see how well you take it. So then, anyways, so I told her that I was scared, and I had my Glock right next to my bed, underneath my bed, in a lockbox with the gun lock. And I kept it next to my bed with the gun lock on. And because I was scared. I was terrified that someone was going to break in the house. They'd already broken into my upstairs while my son and I were home. I already had people trespassing on my property. And the cops wouldn't do nothing. Nothing. And so what else am I supposed to do? If I feel threatened in my own home, I'm a single woman living by herself with the upper body strength of a goldfish. Okay? If a group of guys came at me, I wouldn't be able to defend myself. And so I explained to my friend, like, look, it's getting to the point where I'm so scared that I feel the need that I should keep my Glock close to me because I'm afraid to even walk around my house, walk around my yard, or even exist in my house because it's already been broken into while I was in it. I've had people break into it while I was out of it, which is how the cameras and everything came to be in the first place. So what does she do? She gets a hold of my mom. And she tells my mom that I'm crazy and that I'm waving my gun around, false allegations, that I was violent and dangerous and that I was waving a gun around, and she was afraid for my son's life. This is what she wrote. Now, when the cops came, this is in March of 2022, is when I first started watching the tarot videos and getting clued in on my circumstances, as other people have informed me slowly over time. It didn't register until well into the late summer, early fall of 2022, when it actually registered that, hey, guess what? Everything is recorded in your house. Everything. Even when you take a shit, people judge the way you wipe. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have been judged for how I've wiped my ass. Yep. So what does she do? My mom shows up at my front door and bangs on it. And here I am freaking out because not only am I being terrorized in my own house and not knowing from what direction the attacks are coming from and from who. And so she told my mom what she told my mom. that I was dangerous. I was waving a gun around. They bang on the door, and me thinking it was my mom trying to harass me, I call the cops and say, because I've already explicitly said, please leave me alone. I don't want contact with you. Do not come on my property. Just leave me the hell alone and let me live my life. And I called the cops and told them as much. I'm like, I'm not on speaking terms with my mom. I just want to be left alone. Can you please just tell her to leave me alone? Her banging and screaming for 20 minutes on my front door freaked me the hell out and had me stressing. And so the cops like, okay. I hung up with them, and apparently my mom had called them, and they ended up leaving, and 4 cops show up at my door under false allegations that I was waving my gun around and threatening violence on people, and that I was mentally handicapped or dangerous or whatnot. And the fucked up part was when I figured, well, while the cops are there, might as well tell them about the gang stalking that I've experienced. So there's 4 cops, 2 sheriffs, and 2 state boys sitting out there. I know the names of 2 of them. And I turned to the one that I was familiar with, and his deputy. I'm not going to say his name, but he knows who he is. He ended up, I told him, I'm like, look, listen, I've got people who are driving past my house, circling the block and driving really slow by my house, stalking me. And they'll go around the block in it was like a fucking train. The same vehicles going around and around and around in circle, slowing down by my house, right in front of my house, staring at me, to the point where it drove me in the house for 2 years. 2 years, I did not leave the house. Not step foot outside other than to go get the mail. 2 years. I was locked away in my own house. And I was still being stalked and harassed and watched. But due to the physical gang stalking, it drove me in the house to where I could not even enjoy my property, my home. I couldn't feel safe. And I don't feel safe. So I told the cop, I looked at him, I'm like, look, I got all these people who are circling the block and stalking me. And I've been stalked before. I've been stalked before by one man, actually 2 men, 2 different occurrences. The first time it was a dude who would drive past around my house and nearly drove me off the road at one point. And it was easy to get a restraining order on him. Why? I have no idea. The cops over in that area actually took that shit seriously. And they not only did they come out to my house to take the report and fill out the paperwork for the restraining order, but they also took care of it right then and there. Boom, boom, done. Never needed to worry again. So then, I know how to get a restraining order, and I know what it takes. That, yes, driving on the street is public property, but when you're going repeatedly in front of somebody else's house and slowing down in front of their house, making them feel uncomfortable and staring in their windows, staring at them, that's stalking. That's stalking. And I told the cop this. What did he do? He turned his body cam off. He turned his body cam off and said, it's perfectly legal. It's on public property. Fucking really? Fucking really? Oh, I'm pissing people off right now. I don't give a fuck. You guys don't care about my feelings. Why the fuck should I concern myself with yours? Because you're the one who did it to me. So then I stood out there in my pajamas. My son is in the house. And they're saying, you have to come with me. You have to come with me. And I'm like, am I under arrest? And he's like, well, it's sort of a warrant. I'm like, what is a sort of warrant? Define that for me, please. What is a sort of a warrant? And it was a 302. And and I have by right to read the paperwork and hear the accusations against me. And instead of letting me read the paperwork and telling me what it was I was being accused of, instead of just showing up at my door and saying, okay, we're taking you away now. Okay, for what? Why? Who the hell are you? Who are making these claims? And they finally, after about a half hour, and I got one of them pissed off. He was turning purple. He was so fucking pissed. But I had every right to read the paperwork. He says, well, come out to the squad car and we'll let you read it. I'm like, all right, fine. He shuffled me and pushed me into the back of the cruiser, got in the front, picked up the paperwork, waved it at me from the front seat, and said, see, here's the paperwork, see? And then proceeded to drive me to the hospital. Wouldn't let me read it, wouldn't let me look at it, wouldn't even tell me what it entailed. Nothing. And so I went in there and I was let out. I actually asked to stay an extra day because I figured radical acceptance. Might as well just take advantage of the situation and the resources that are provided here. And I learned a great deal. So it wasn't a complete and total loss. It pissed me off because it was false allegations. And the only reason why I did not sue my friend or my mother for it, because I have legal rights to sue for being falsely detained, was because I didn't have a running vehicle or a ride to get to town to fill out the paperwork to sue them. I had my cars messed with. And I didn't drive for 5 years. And the only reason that saved both of their asses from getting sued by me for false imprisonment was the fact that I didn't have a vehicle. My mom and I are okay right now, but I will never forget that. I forgive her, but I will never forget. Because all that shit is now held against me. Even my therapists are in on this shit. Are relaying information about me online somehow. HIPAA laws are completely dismissed and nobody gives a shit. Okay, so let's fast forward to after I get out. I cut off everyone. I went through my friends list, and if there was any inkling I had that individual had something to do with this, off they blockety block, and more blockety block. Because here I was getting attacked, and I had no idea from where or from who. The only option I had was to isolate myself. Because if you were getting attacked and you don't know from which direction it is coming from, which people are the ones who are doing it, because it's all clandestine, because it's all online, what other options do you have? La-di-da and just believe the people who smile in your face and stab you in the back? No. So over the course, I kept on watching tarot afterwards just to figure out what the fuck was going on. And little did I know, and I was learning as I went along about my situation, and it took a number of tarot readers and other like prophets to clue me in that I was even being watched, that there were cameras in my house. Because back then I used to be on drugs. Used to be. I've been sober for a number of years now. I don't know the exact date right now because I haven't kept track because, well, drugs aren't important to me. So why should I keep track of how sober I am when I'm just gonna stay sober? I only keep track of my days to prove to other people and be proud of myself for how far I've come in my recovery. And so at one point in time, I went into my closet to sniff drugs. And little did I know that there was a fucking camera in my damn closet. In my bathroom. And somebody, a reader, and I remember who it was too, again, I will not say names, who pointed it out. and who also said, oh, what you're doing in the closet ain't nothing compared to what other people have in their closets. I remember that phrase. And that was like, oh my God. And so I got one of those camera detectors, and I went through the entire house, and ding, 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 ding. Cameras fucking everywhere. I called the police. I called the feds. I made reports to the feds. I made reports to the police, and nothing. Not a damn thing. They give zero fucks. They were led to believe that I am the villain and that I'm, broadcasting my body across the internet and stuff, and all due to the assumptions of what people have said about me. Accusing me of being a prostitute or a whore or a sex worker. Going so far as to make my phone, and it took me a while, and it took me another tarot reader, I remember her name, clued me in, because she would take screenshots of the links on her own personal feed, and messages would come up in it. And so that's what triggered me into paying more attention to the links on my feed and what they said. And that clued me in that, hey, guess what? Those aren't just links. That's a whole fucking conversation. A whole fucking group chat. People have seen me naked. People have posted my private information. I can't go to a therapist or office or talk to my therapist without them leading me with questions regarding this situation and the lies and defamatory statements that were made against me. And it's less about healing my mental health and getting me the mental health that I need, but getting information to spread across the internet to confirm or deny whatever allegations I've been accused of. And so I would tell people, the few people that I kept in my circle, because I whittled down friends slowly over time. I went through a big burst where I just cut everyone out, and then there was a small group of people that I kept close, that I was reluctant to get rid of because I loved them and I trusted them. And so I would give the links to some of the videos and stuff, and this is what's going on in my life. This is what's happening to me. This is the proof. These tarot videos, these screenshots, everything. And I told them I'm being watched. I'm being stalked, and it's scaring the shit out of me. And one friend said, Julie, you sound just like your crazy mother. You sound just as batshit and delusional as your mother. Nobody is watching you. Nobody's looking at you. Nobody's seeing you naked. Nobody's stalking you. And that devastated the shit out of me. That broke my fucking heart. And that's when it was just like, okay, I can't trust you. Because I wouldn't just say this just to say it. So that's when I started whittling down people, and I started fighting back on Facebook, taking screenshots of my phone being hijacked. I took a screen recording of the fake profiles that were made of me on Facebook, of people pretending to be me. There was a lady from a Facebook group that got a hold of me. Pardon me. And this was back in 2021. And she's like, you stole my money. You stole my money. I'm like, who the fuck? No, I didn't. And she's like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Apparently, back in 2020 or 2021, people were making fake profiles of me and scamming people out of money. Using my likeness, using me. And scamming people that I know who thought that they were doing me a favor They were actually paying somebody that was actually screwing them over and making me look bad. And these fake profiles have not stopped, have not ceased. It's still going on. People making fake shit up about me, fake conversations, fake screenshots, fakety, fake, to make me look a certain way and for other people to look at me a certain way. And when they couldn't get away with accusing me of being a sex worker because I haven't had a penis in my vagina in 8 years, I haven't had a boyfriend in 8 years, I haven't even had a man hold my hand in 8 years. I haven't been kissed in 8 years. Nothing. I live by myself, alone, in the house that I own. I own this house. This house belongs to me. The title's in my name, the deed's in my name. I'm the only one that has lived here. And I bought it with my first husband, and he signed a quitclaim deed. And I got the house after the divorce. This house is mine. It's not anybody else's but mine. And nobody has the right to infiltrate it or invade it or break in or walk around like they own the place when they don't. When I'm the one that's sitting here paying the bills on this bitch. So then I started cutting even more people off. To the point where I didn't have any friends. And the stress of everything, of being stalked on the physical, drove me in the house to where I was even afraid to go outside. I was afraid to walk to the store. So my son would go down to the store and get groceries. And plus I couldn't make it because my health was shit. My health was absolute dog shit. So then over time, and it wasn't until probably like I'd say about late summer of 2022 when it finally registered, hey, guess what? You're being watched illegally. Everybody has seen your titties. Everybody has seen your vagoo. Everybody's seen your dimpled lily white Irish ass. Everyone. Down to people commenting on the dimples on my ass. Have I made friends along the way? Possibly. But I am sitting here with no friends, and the people that say that they're my friends are really actors and actresses. Because they're not my friend because they want to be my friend. They're my friend because they want information. Because they want me to confirm or deny whatever allegations there are when I haven't even been given a list of grievances. People have just spouted off at the mouth about me, talking about me as though they were the freaking professional in Judaism. No, you're not. And it took people, kind people on the internet who knew that something like this, they wouldn't like it if something like this was done to them. So they were courteous and genuine enough to, hey, clue me in, like, hey, guess what, Jules? And they'd clue me in by keywords. Keywords, phrases, certain things that are only attributed to me that I would pick up on real fucking quick. There was was it not this past year, but last year I did the poetry marathon, and I used the word copacetic in a poem. I looked up the word and used it in a poem, and lo and behold, there was a tarot reader who actually used that word in her read. She was a hater, but it was proof enough for me that, hey, you're being watched. There have been people who gave my name a shout out. A couple people. And it shocked the shit out of me. Scared the shit out of me. And I'm just grateful that it came from people who are kind-hearted and not ones who are twisted and evil and who are out to freaking harm me. I have called, let's see here. After I was 302, I didn't talk to my mom for a while. She had a wellness check done on me from the sheriff's department, and I talked to a lady officer there. I know her name. I remember her name. I won't say it. It's the same lady who I reported the 3 stolen vehicles off of my property from last March, and still nothing was done about it. So I had 3 vehicles stolen off my property, on top of 1 vehicle getting broken into. Yeah. People think that they can treat me any sort of way they want to. And people have gotten away with doing it for years. For years. People have come into my house while I've been gone, as of recent history. And nobody does anything about it. Nobody says shit. And people walk in and out as though my house, my private property, is public. No, it's not. This is private property. Ugh. So then, once I realized that there were cameras that explained the smear campaigns, because it's been more than one. And when people couldn't peg me for being a prostitute, because my celibacy has proven that I'm not, they decided to accuse me of other things. I've had my mail stolen and tampered with. I've had harassment online by individuals. I've had people make fun of me and brutally tear me apart. And people, oh, you're just dude, if this happened to you, you would be a little bit upset too. Especially if it was your naked body. And that's something that I will never, ever get back. That was something that was stolen from me that I will never, ever get back. The choice as to who I decide gets to see me naked. I will never get that back. That's gone forever. And you have no idea the pain when you walk knowing that your naked body has been on display and you have been just a freaking fixture, a source of entertainment for masses. And then you walk into a store and you have a guy leering at you, looking you up and down and knowing full well he's seen all the goods. That he knows exactly what you look like underneath all your clothes. It's made my skin crawl. It was fucking unnerving. And that's not anything that I will ever get back for the rest of my life. That's something that is permanently stolen from me. Other things that were permanently stolen from me, my private thoughts. People reading in my journal as I'm writing in it, looking over my shoulder. People eavesdropping on me while I'm in the courthouse getting my shit figured out and making sure that I don't have to, excuse me, because I was never convicted. The case was dismissed. I am not a convicted felon. I was never convicted. The case was dismissed. And when I went into the courthouse, this was like 2 weeks ago, to confirm that, oh, here comes the lady jumping on to make a tarot video, and she mentions, oh, she's a felon, she's this, she's that, she's But if you listened closer, you would have heard that the case was dismissed and that I'm not a convicted felon at all. But instead of listening to the real truth, they just listen to what they overhear and then run with it. And through years of people saying, oh, she's a sex worker, she's a cam girl, she's a prostitute. And all the while, I'm under the impression, I didn't know if people were watching me for free or if people were actually paying to have their links and communication put on my feed. Or they were paying to have my Pandora hacked, or not hacked, but paying to put specific songs on my Pandora playlists as a means of communication. And this has all been going on for 3 years. I actually tested a theory, and I went and I left my phone in my vehicle during the last therapy session I had a couple months ago. And I tested a theory. I'm like, what will happen if I leave my phone in the car and I go into this appointment? And so I went in, had my appointment, and I looked at the woman's phone, and it was sitting upright on her desk. And I'm like, they're listening through it. And I'm thinking to myself, and then she starts talking about how I was 302'd. And I'm like, yeah, I was 302'd under false allegations. And the only reason why I didn't sue them was because I didn't have a ride. And I don't know if there's a statute of limitations on that shit. Otherwise, I'd jump on that. Because no one should get away with false allegations. And she asked me, do you hear voices in your head? Alluding to the idea that I'm schizophrenic. Now, let me make this abundantly clear. When I was 302'd, I walked out of there with the same diagnosis that I went in with. And when I got my diagnoses, I did so willingly. I sat and took a 5.5 hour long psych eval. I begged my doctor over at, and she sent me to the neuroscience division at Marquette General, so I could sit and do a 5.5 hour long psych eval, just so I could be proactive about my own mental health. And that's how I know who I am, what I am, and what I struggle with. And so the lady's like, well, you hear voices, don't you? I'm like, no, I don't. Those were rumors. Because I kept on hearing those rumors on my feed. Schizophrenia, 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 schizophrenia. Parading down my YouTube newsfeed. And here's this therapist, professional therapist, who's entertaining the rumors online and trying to get clarification about my own diagnosis due to the rumors that other people have spread about me online that I hear voices. And I'm like, sorry, I'm not schizophrenic. Oops. And so, because I knew of that connection, and I knew immediately, as soon as she said it, and as soon as she brought it up, trying to make me look like I am, crazy or whatever, and this is all in my head. I go out to the car, and what the hell do you know? People were talking about what I was talking about in my appointment. My private appointment that is covered under HIPAA laws. And people wonder why I won't go to therapy. Because I can't fucking trust the therapists. I can't trust the police. Obviously. I mean, shit, I tried to explain to them everything that I've experienced, and they fucking hung up on me. And I'm not the only one that this has happened to, where the feed is manipulated by outside persons. And it took the people who watched me to teach me how to play this game. Screenshots through the messages. Texting back by writing on the screen with my finger, or texting it out when I had my other phone. And that was the communication. And that's been the communication for years. And this is so profound, and nobody wants to touch it. Nobody wants to touch it. They don't want to involve themselves. Which is scary in a sense. Because if can happen to me so easily, and nobody bats an eyelash, how many more people are going through the same fucking thing and they're not being heard or listened to or taken seriously? How many times have they called the police or the feds to get help and they got hung up on? How many times did they try to explain, hey, I'm hurting. These people are fucking hurting and damaging me. My privacy is being invaded. People have seen me naked. They have watched me take a shit and commented on how I wipe. On a daily. And no one will touch it. No one will do anything. Why? Because they're waiting for the day for me to drive me to the point where I do commit suicide, less paperwork to deal with. They can brush it under the rug and wash it away like, oh, shit like that doesn't really happen. Not really to real people. That's just only shit in movies in Hollywood. You're crazy. But here it is happening to me. And law enforcement don't give a shit. And I know they're watching me. You don't give a shit. You don't fucking care. Because it's not you. Because you're convinced that I'm in the wrong. When all I've been doing is just living alone in my own house. And people, oh, you're dangerous, you're this, you're that. No, I'm not. I've got a mouth on me and that's about as violent as I get. I do not raise my hands to people. Violence is never the answer. Violence is the worst possible choice. And I learned that early on. I am a pacifist. I would rather walk away from a fight than duke it out with somebody. But I'm not stupid enough to not be able to defend myself. There's a difference. I won't go out of my way to hurt somebody, but I will defend myself. I will stand up for myself and stick up for myself. And everybody thinks this is funny. Ha ha. When you wouldn't want this happening to you. You wouldn't feel very good knowing that your naked ass has been online without your permission or consent for years. And you'd be pretty pissed off that the law enforcement won't do anything about it to make it stop. Whether or not the state police will actually do something about this, I'm not sure. I keep on getting the runaround and not taken seriously. And I believe it's due to the lies and defamations. Oh, she's crazy. She had a hand in this. She helped set this up. She was a willing participant. Fuck you. Like hell I was. Willing participant, my ass. And the only reason why I've continued speaking out and defending myself, because you guys are the only ones who would listen. And most of you don't even listen to me anymore. Because you don't care. Because it's not happening to you. It's happening to me. People don't tend to give a shit unless it's, the people don't care. Until it happens to them. And unfortunately, with the woman I was explaining about earlier, the woman whose YouTube was hacked and her TV was manipulated outside of, by hackers and stuff, she never got any help. She didn't have police. That's invasion of privacy. That's harassment. That's civil rights being violated. That's basic human rights being violated. And the only alternative, the only thing that woman could do was speak out on it on her TikTok to let people in the know, educate people, spread the word that this shit happens. Phones get cloned and mirrored and turned into a group chat. Hackers can hack into your computer, your tablet, your phone, your television. They can delete messages. They can manipulate it so you don't get any calls or messages or emails or texts or anything like that, further isolating you to make you feel like you have absolutely fucking no one in your corner. And then they market this shit through all the rumors and defamation, plus the, shit. Yeah, you put cameras in anybody's fucking house and then make a platform and record them. And you have a group of people telling all these other people, all these watchers, yeah, this person's a sex worker, they're a prostitute. Well, the proof is right there because they're being watched. Right? They're naked on the internet. They must be. Until it comes about the realization that, hey, guess what? I didn't sign up for this. I had nothing to do with this. And I would never in a million years consent to my naked body being on display anywhere on the internet. No one has permission to do that. Period. I've had a lot of things stolen from me. There was, and because of the fact that my naked body is somewhere on the internet and nobody will tell me where, they just say, oh, it's just a platform. And, oh, this is your job. This is not my fucking job. This is exploitation. I didn't sign up for it. And if there was any signature anywhere in any form or fashion, I did not sign it. Because you could not pay me enough to agree to subject myself to this level of abuse. It's not fucking worth it. No amount of money would ever be worth this. And if people are paying to communicate with me, I'm sorry, but all that money that you've dropped over these years did not go in my pocket. That lined the pockets of other people calling me the whore. And it sucks. It sucks that the cops won't do anything because they're led to believe, oh, you're crazy. You're batshit. You're in on this. We were told that by all these other people that you were this certain sort of way, so we're not going to help. Really? Because as far as I'm aware, if even the police officers are made aware of a crime and they do nothing, under Michigan law, they're held accountable. If I'm held accountable for witnessing a crime and doing nothing, and I get charged for the same charges as the person who actually committed the crime, then shouldn't they also be held accountable? People want me to hold myself accountable. No, I'm not perfect. Yes, I've made mistakes in my life. Yes, I've said and done things that I regret. I have broken hearts. I've said and done the wrong thing. But does that give anybody any right whatsoever to turn my phone into a group chat and display my naked body and all of my personal information, my bank account information, my psychological information, my medical information, down to freaking all of my social media being hijacked? I have been virtually raped continuously. And no one cares. No one cares. So to anybody watching this, if you happen to run across this and you're experiencing something similar, keep going. If you've been through the ringer and you've been lied on, if you've been accused of shit and the cops won't help you, they just listen and just do whatever, just keep going. Don't take yourself out. because taking yourself out would only mean less paperwork for them to deal with. Because that's what they're banking on. Julie has BPD. BPD is statistically has a high rate of suicide, the highest rate of suicide of all mental illnesses, BPD. And because I've been diagnosed with BPD, people automatically assume that, oh, she's just having a moment, and I get gaslit up the ass. She's just having a moment. She's just having a BPD moment. It's not anything that's actually truly terrorizing or traumatizing. When your phone is turned into a group chat and you've got other people judging your tears and shaming you for it publicly, yes, that's traumatizing. And it's not just childhood trauma, so don't hand me that shit. Not everything has to do with childhood trauma. Let's talk current trauma. Because childhood isn't the only time one experiences trauma. People can live a perfectly normal childhood and grow up to experience trauma. And having people turn around and say, oh, it stems from your childhood, is patronizing and incorrect. Because if you have your phone turned without your permission or consent into a group chat where people come on and abuse the shit out of you repeatedly for years with no shame. I mean, public brutality. You would have an issue too, and that would be pretty fucking traumatizing for you too. Having to, every time you do a Google search or you search something on the university website to write an article, and have all of the search results end up being messages from other people, names, keywords, phrases meant to trigger emotional response and trigger the subliminally. That would drive you that would do a number on you. It would do a number on your trust issues, especially if you didn't know who the hell did it, where it originated from, and the fact that police won't help you. I want you to know you're not alone. If you're going through something similar, if you've ever had something similar happen to you, I want you to know you're not alone. And I've made it 3 years so far of my knowing of this situation. And then the 2 or 3 years before that, when this was going on without my knowledge or consent. If I can make it this far and I'm still breathing, so can you. I'm still brokenhearted. I'm still nursing a broken heart. And that's another aspect that really sucks about this situation, is that all my pain, all the suffering, all of the trauma is all publicized. Everything that I endure has been publicized. The abuse has been publicized. The exploitation has been publicized. My private thoughts have been publicized. My private information has been publicized. My medical records, my psychiatric records, my sexual health records, my finances, all of my social media, everything publicized. When I have a right to privacy and nobody has any right to invade that. Period. I am not going anywhere. I'm not going to off myself. I'm going to continue fighting back in the only way I know how, and the only way that's at my disposal. And that's making videos, talking candidly about my experience through my YouTube channel, and maybe connecting with other people who have experienced similar or the same. And letting them know that if this is happening to you too, you're not alone. And something needs to be done about it to make this so it doesn't happen again to anyone else. So, y'all can have fun laughing at my tears. That's another thing too that killed me. is people putting me in competition with other people. Here I am living by myself, right? I live alone. I don't have any friends. And all these years after all this isolation and stuff, people presume to think that I was competing with somebody else on the internet, and all I knew of this person was their zodiac sign. It wasn't until someone actually flipped up a link of someone that looks like the person where it's like, okay, now I know who's trying to pin me against. And it happened to be someone who was close to me at one point in my life. And they're saying, oh, she's competing with you, or you're competing with her, stirring the pot, ruining friendships, ruining connections, putting me in competition with people I had known for years, and I had no idea who the fuck I was supposed to be competing with. Because people ran their mouth. And then shit happened, and that person ended up betraying the shit out of me, so it's just like, well, fuck. Putting me in competition with people I have no idea who I'm supposed to fucking be competing with. The only person I'm competing with is myself. Because the only thing I look back on is compared to who I was before when all this started to who I am now. And not anybody else, because I'm not in competition with anybody else. I don't give a fuck what other people are doing. They can do whatever the fuck they want to. I don't care. Because that's their life. And those are people that I walked away from years ago. And I didn't look back. I looked back once. And then she blocked me. And then I was just like, okay, fine, I guess we're not friends. There's no way to reach out to you, so well, fuck it. And I moved on with my life. And lo and behold, here she comes on the feed, starting shit. When I wasn't even stalking her, I don't talk about her. I'm not even going to say her name. It doesn't even matter. The shit got started with her, and then there was like a big betrayal that ensued thereafter, and people are fighting to be on sides. How about being on the side of where you don't traffic someone? How about being on the side where you don't abuse somebody electronically? How about you don't stalk somebody or eavesdrop them on them over their phone? That's the side I'm on. Whatever anybody else does is their fucking business and none of mine. I don't search for anybody. I have not gone on Facebook in almost a year. The only thing I go on at all social media-wise is LinkedIn and YouTube, and I barely post on either one. But people placing me in competition with people that I used to love with every fiber of my being. And saying, oh, you're competing with this person. You're competing with this person. No, the fuck I was never. I loved, and throughout all of this, I loved one single man. Throughout all of this. Only wanted one single man. And that's the man it didn't work out. And he chose someone else. And so I have to move on. And I move on and keep going by myself without friends. Because I don't really have anyone. And those people that I do have aren't really there for me as a friend so much as they are to get information. Some of them are there to be my friend, but they know exactly what's going on and they won't tell me. They know exactly where to find this online, but they won't tell me. They have the power. All of you who watch me have the power to just right click on the link and paste it somewhere where I can see. So I can see what you guys see. How this is set up. I've never even seen the landing page. I have no idea what to look for. Not a fucking clue. And so I've waited and waited and waited and waited and waited, hoping that maybe someday someone will provide me the link to this so I can put a stop to it, so I don't have to live with my naked body online anymore. I can have that shit taken down. But nobody cares. This is the world that we live in, folks. People love trauma because it's entertainment. People like watching other people suffer because it's entertainment, and that's what it boils down to. Enjoying the suffering of others, relishing in it, participating in it by making videos or reaction videos to it. This is the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen, where something like this can go on for a span of years and no one will do a fucking thing. Not a damn thing. When it's within anybody's power to shut this down. But too many people have made money off of this. And it's not just about I already worked through my childhood trauma. My childhood trauma doesn't bother me anymore. It's the current trauma. It's the ongoing trauma of being watched, of being stalked online, of people seeing me naked, seeing me wipe my ass, commenting on how I do it, commenting on my naked body, commenting on my body, period. People are going to bitch because I'm not wearing makeup right now. When I started this video, I just got done bawling my fucking eyes out because I lost the love of my life and crying all the tears that I held in from this situation of being watched, and crying because I knew damn well that people were going to laugh at me for crying and relish and feel great about themselves because, we made Julie cry. We're awesome people. Look, you're winning. She's crying. If it takes someone to cry for someone else to win, is that win really worth it? And what do you define as winning socially? I define winning as my accomplishments, my degree, my certifications, my projects, the 100,000 words I wrote in my novel so far, the 4,000 words I wrote on my research paper regarding this situation. Because at least, if anything, maybe I can make a difference in somebody else's life if I can't fucking make one in mine. That maybe what I can provide somebody else will benefit them in some way, and it'll make this all worth it. It would make the trauma, not childhood trauma, but the current trauma, the trauma of every day waking up knowing that people have watched me fall asleep, they watch me get dressed, they watch my eating habits, they watch when I pick my nose or pick a wedgie. They notice when I run my fingers through my hair and a few stray hairs come out and I put it in the garbage. Subtle, little, nuanced things. I don't know what alone feels like. And I wish I did. And in some ways, the only thing that I really want right now, more than anything else, is a fucking hug. That's all I want, is a damn hug. I'd love to have someone say, hey, Jules, it's okay, I got your back. Or, hey, Jules, I love you and I'm not going to leave. Hey, Jules, I know this is hell for you being accused of being a prostitute and a whore and having everybody talk about what's up in between my legs as if it's any of their fucking business. As if they had any fucking right. As if anybody had any right to turn my phone into a group chat. Or any rights to these individuals who compulsively watch me and stalk me online just so they have something to talk about on their own videos so they can make money. I was never competing. I was just living my life the best way I can under the circumstances, doing what I can to make the best out of a fuckery situation. And then my kid gets in on it too. My kid's well aware. Everybody talks to me in symbolism and subliminals. And they think it's okay. They think that's not abuse. This isn't playing victim. This is victim. And there's going to be people who gaslight the shit out of me for this video too. And just watch. Just watch. And they'll say, oh, she's in competition. No, I'm not. Obviously, you're the one who's competing with me if you feel the need to watch me compulsively. Because why else would you watch me? Seriously. You wouldn't want this done to you. And it would hurt like hell knowing that the people that you loved and cared about most in this world helped spread the rumors that you were a whore, that you were a prostitute, that you sold your ass, or you did strange things for change. Weaponizing my emotions, weaponizing my mental health, weaponizing my physical health, weaponizing my isolation, weaponizing anything I say and do, twisting it to appease whatever narrative that somebody wants to spin about this. Whether or not the police will actually do something, I don't know. I've done all I could, and the only thing I can do is rely solely upon the generosity and kindness of other individuals to keep me in the know and who will advocate for me. Because in situations such as trafficking and exploitation, you have to rely on other people to help you. Because most people can't get out of it on their own. They have to come in and get rescued. And I'm not expecting anybody to rescue me. It's been 4 years now that I've known about this. And no one's come yet. And no one is going to. Not even the cops. I have to sit and suffer and suck it up and deal. As I have been for years. And I pray to God this never happens to you. To all the haters watching me right now, I hope to God nothing like this ever happens to you. I pray that no one invades your privacy and comments on your naked body. I pray that no one uploads sex videos of you that were taken without your knowledge or consent. I pray that if that does happen to you, that you do get the help that you need and that you deserve. And I pray that you're rescued from that situation. And I pray that you're not shamed because you had to be rescued. Until then, it's just me. Y'all can go on and do whatever you want because, well, you're going to anyway, so what the fuck does it matter? And it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I do. People are going to still run with the narrative they decide they want to run with. And it sucks. My naked body, I can never get that back off the internet. My privacy, I can't get back. And you know what? I shouldn't have to move. I shouldn't have to get a new phone. I've already tried that. I already tried getting a new phone, and they hacked into it. And I contacted Verizon. I got a certified letter stating, hey, guess what? We're not going to help you. Yeah. It's to the point where I would feel safer living in a fucking bunker by myself. And that seems like to be the only option I have to regain my privacy, because law officials won't advocate for me. They won't intervene and say, put a stop to this and say, hey, what you're doing to this woman is wrong. The fact that her naked body is online and you could see her as she's going about her day is wrong. That people can eavesdrop on her private conversations is wrong. But you don't care because it's not you. It's not you, so why should you give a remote microfuck? It sucks. It sucks having to live with this. It sucks living every day like this. And then you're and then this was turned into a dating profile. A fucking dating profile. As though I'm supposed to find true love in this. Are you fucking high? And then when I think it's gonna work out, it fucking nosedives. Love was supposed to be the silver lining in this. But it's non-existent. Love doesn't exist for me. And it's a fucking joke. Yeah, find someone to love you after you've been exploited. Fucking really? Find someone that will love you through thick and thin, unconditionally, while your ass is naked online. While people follow you around wherever you go. Oh, she's breaking down, she's doing this. Fuck you, bitch. You would too. If it happened to you. But since it's not, and you don't like me, it's let's applaud the pain. Right? Because that's where your heart space is at. And knowing that the people that you loved and cared about the most in this world, the people that you loved fiercely with every fiber of your being, were the ones that turned against you and betrayed you. It's like a big hug with words. People talk, oh, she's chain smoking, she's doing this, she's doing that. You shouldn't even be knowing what I'm doing at all. Period. I never agreed to this. This is bullshit is what it is. And I'm fucking tired of it. I have been tired of it. So whoever's winning, congratulations. Really. Congratulations. And people are going to say, oh, she's unhinged, she's this, she's that. Further gaslighting. I've been gaslit through this entire situation. Repeatedly. And the only real people that have actually stuck around in my corner are the ones that I see regularly on my feed. The ones that have been the constant in my feed, not the ones that have been in and out, the constants. And just the presence and knowing that you're there makes me feel less alone. And I want you to know that and thank you. Even if it's just advice or just presence. Showing that you care. Which not many people do. So yeah, I'm a fucking mess. You would be too. You would be too. So now you get to see me ugly cry. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, there's people applauding right now. There are people who are doing fucking cartwheels right now because I'm heartbroken. Not just of losing the love of my life, but also for being digitally tortured for years. Through slander, defamation, and hidden voyeur cameras, and no one will do fuck about it. No one cares. And this is why shit like this gets... Yeah. No one ever had the authority to do this. So, to those of you who are still struggling, I'm right there with you. You're not alone in your pain. You're not alone in your pain. And if you need someone to rescue you, hold tight, someone will someday. And if they don't, then you've got someone who knows what it's like to be alone and to feel alone and have to contend with this shit on your own. That's what's lonely. It's not the fact that I don't have a boyfriend. It's not the fact that I don't have friends. It's not the fact that I live by myself that makes me feel alone. It's knowing that so many people watch me. And they just watch and do nothing. Or they watch and they talk. That is what makes me lonely. That is the ultimate form of loneliness. Surrounded by people who make damn sure you know you're alone. I had my Amazon Alexa hacked too. That's back in 2018 to 2021. Someone hacked my Amazon. There was 2 people who had access to it. One being a former friend, and the other one being a former friend. And I remember being in my bedroom, and I had the Alexa hooked up. And my son comes in and comes barreling at me like he always does, and he tackle hugs me. And I used to giggle and laugh. And I heard a woman's voice through my Amazon Alexa saying, "Is that what she sounds like?" A woman's voice coming from my Alexa. And I looked at my son, and he looked at me, and I'm like, "Did you just hear that?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, holy fuck, my fucking Alexa's hacked. Everything. You have no idea what it's like. You can sit on your platforms and say whatever it is that you want to say and go with whatever narrative that you want. But you have absolutely no idea what it's like to be voyeured nonstop with unrelenting voyeurism. You get to shut off your camera and walk away and live your life in private. You get to control what gets uploaded onto your platform because you're the one who's doing it. But when that choice is taken from you, And you don't get to decide when the camera shuts off, let alone decide who gets to fucking watch you. The people who have abused me in my life, watch me. People I never wanted any part of my life anymore, watch me, and there's not a fucking thing I can do about it. And there's nothing that anybody else is willing to do about it either. Say what you please, believe what you want. I don't fucking care anymore. I've already had everything infiltrated and destroyed. The only thing I have, nothing short of a camera. The only thing that I haven't had done to me yet is having a camera shoved up my ass. Or a public colonoscopy, public pelvic exam. That's the only thing that hasn't happened yet. Or I die. And I know there are certain people out there who are rooting for me taking a bullet in my head. There are people out there who hope I do. And considering the fact that the cops won't do anything about the cameras or anything like that, or the fact that my phone is a group chat, do you think they'd even do anything if I off myself? Or would this just be swept under the rug? And this will be turned into mythology or some urban legend. When shit like this is real, and it does happen. And don't think for a second that it won't happen to you, because I thought that way too. Sex trafficking only happens in movies. Sex trafficking and exploitation only happen to other people. That's not going to happen to me until it does. Until it does. And it's a feeling of helplessness, that knowing that there's not a fucking thing I can do about it to make it stop. There's nothing I can do for it to stop. And no amount of pleading and crying and begging is going to make it stop. People are going to continue torturing me online to whatever end they expect. So there you go. There's my 2 cents of an hour, almost 2 hours. If you managed to sit through this, cool, thank you. If not, well, if not. But at least my side is out there. And now you guys know that I'm not fucking making shit up. This isn't bullshit. I'm not pulling it out of my ass. I did not do this. I took no part in this. I signed no paperwork. I did not agree to be recorded without and be displayed online. I never agreed for my titties, my naked titties, to be displayed online. Ever. No amount of money in the world would ever be able to compensate me for me to agree to do something like that. I have never been a stripper. I have never been a sex worker. I've never been most of everything that people have accused me of behind my back. But this is what happens to people when you stick cameras in their house and then you start a bunch of rumors and lies and invade their privacy. Every facet of their privacy, making it public. And not only that hurts the person, but it hurts everyone around them. It hurts the people that come in contact with this situation. Because the scary reality of it is, and the real dig is the fact that if this can happen to me, you should be fucking scared. And I don't mean as in you're going to receive repercussions or anything for what you play into this, but I'm saying if this can happen to me, it can happen to you. If this can happen to me, it can happen to you fucking easy. And look at how easy it was for them to do it. All it took was setting up cameras and then toting a bunch of bullshit rumors and lies online. And they sat back and watched their marketing strategy work. While everybody ran with the rumors, ran with the lies, ran with the gossip, and further expanded upon the reach all across all facets of the internet and social media. And all it took was a bunch of rumors. All it took was somebody putting cameras in and saying this person's a prostitute and sells her ass. And y'all believed it. And bought into it. And played into the abuse. Thank you for watching. I don't want to talk anymore. I've talked for an hour and 45 minutes already. I wasn't anticipating making this long of a video. But there, since this is all the bullshit I would be spouting off to a therapist anyway, so it doesn't matter if I talk to a therapist, because what is the therapist going to do except say, oh, keep your head up? Heal. You fucking try healing when you've got people every day harassing you online. Every day. Without fail. Watching you without fail. Every day online. Some have good intentions, some do not. Thank you to those of you who watch who do have good intentions. And to those of you with bad intentions, I pray to God nothing like this ever happens to you. From my lips to God's ears. I pray to God nothing like this ever happens to you. Because look how easy it was for it to happen to me. That should scare you. And as big as it's developed into, yeah, you'd be scared. Not of legal recourse, but of the same thing happening to you or someone you know. Shit like this does happen. And unfortunately, mine has been publicized to the point where it became popular. I never wanted popularity. I didn't want fame. I wanted just to sit and write my books. And my original goal was to be a university professor, teaching creative writing from home. That was my initial goal. That was my lifelong dream. And then shit happened, and my health took a nosedive. My mental health took a nosedive. And you've seen the rest. So, take what you want from this. Just understand that it's not childhood trauma I'm dealing with. It's ongoing everyday trauma. There's a huge, 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 huge difference. You can't go walk up to a person, punch them in the face and say, heal. That's your childhood wounding right there, even though I just socked you in the face. So, I'm gonna nurse my broken heart and cope the best way I can. You guys take what you want from this. Vilify me. Hate on me. Abuse me some more, because why not? Everybody else does, and everybody's gotten away with it, so what does it matter? It doesn't fucking matter. Because it's not going to stop people. So you guys have fun doing your thing. That's all I got for today. Thank you for watching.